My grandparents lost everything. They lost their home. They lost family members. My grandfather saw people being killed. And that happened on August 15th, 1947. And then 24 years later, the same day, the United States
took the dollar off the gold standard. Nixon did.
That's crazy.
It's not only that, it's when I went to military school. So we studied different types of history. You look at the American flag, it's the flag of the British East India Company. The sun never sets on the British Empire. So Hawaii was a British Empire, India, Australia, New Zealand, America. It's really interesting to study history.
It is.
Not from the academic side.
They probably call you a conspiracy theorist.
Of course.
Are you?
No, I'm a historian. I like history. But see, when I came back from Vietnam in 1973, I got spit on, I got hit by eggs and all this by these hippies who went through the Woodstock generation, my own, baby boom generation. And here I am. I just lost a lot of friends and all this. We're fighting, we're killing communists in Vietnam. It was horrible. You know who's killed the most people in history? Communists. And that's who we're fighting. So Americans fight against people who murder people. So the sad thing about it is that we have a history that's not history. It's massaged. It's fabricated.
Well, they say the winners write the history books.
Correct. And so that's why you look at the American flag, it's the flag. That's why I love talking to you, because we're brothers here. Hawaii was taken over by the English. India was taken over by Australia, South Africa. It's the sun never sets in the British Empire. Well, why don't they teach us that stuff? Why is the American flag? They say, "Oh, Betsy Ross sewed it." Bullshit. Look at the flag of the British East India Company. You'll see the American flag. I'm trying to say something. 1930, the Frankfurt School out of Germany, which was Marxist, moved to Columbia University Teachers College, and that's where it started in America. I'm a student of history. It's like, there was a guy named General Patton. We studied the great generals. Patton was a great general because he led from the front. Most generals led from the bunker, in the rear. That's why Biden, when he ran for president, he was hiding in his basement. He's a bunker guy. And Trump ran from the front. He had millions of people cheering and screaming for them. But the way it's run now is, I call him Basement Biden. He hides in his basement. He doesn't say crap. And Trump loses.
So are you not happy with the way that President Biden is running the country?
What happened in Afghanistan is treason. All of those weapons that were taken, $850 billion worth of it, is now going to be used against the state of Israel. It's one of our last allies in that area. I'm a military guy. I have killed people. I've had my friends killed. And Americans sit here and just go, "Oh, what's on YouTube tonight?" Or "What's on television?" And we sit here with sanitized, sterilized education. So I sit in this room here, and you can look around. I call this the fishbowl, but these are my heroes here, the people that stood up.
You have Albert Einstein, Martin
Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Nez Perce, Chief Joseph, the Nez Perce Indians. These guys stood up. They got cut down also. So I refuse to be cut down. You can come in. People have tried to kill me before. I don't really care. In Vietnam,
you're not worried about that? You're not worried
Vietnam,
about
I went down 3 times. They couldn't kill me there. So I'm just speaking out. And this is the time now. Because I think some people, about probably 2 out of 10, 20%, realize that something's wrong in America. And I'm a student of Karl Marx, 1848. He and Engels wrote a book called The Communist Manifesto. The last line in the Communist Manifesto is the abolition of property. No private property. Everything is owned by the state. And the way they get you through that is by inflation and taxation. They're both taxes. So Biden just raised the taxes on doctors, I think 20%. I think that's kind of funny. But now 50% of a doctor's income goes to taxes. And a capitalist like me pays no taxes. Trump pays no taxes. And it angers people. Instead of saying, well, how do you guys do that? I mean, how can I sit here talking to you and tell people I don't pay taxes? How come I'm not taken off to jail?
Yeah, aren't you a greedy, rich, horrible human being for not paying taxes?
I like my money. I don't want those communists in Washington, D.C. to take my money. I don't like them taking my money. I don't like being manipulated by the government, which is Marxist.
But is it you that's doing something wrong? I mean, you're not doing anything illegal. The tax code
Would I be telling you I don't pay taxes if I was a criminal?
You know, I went to law school, obviously, because when my parents found out that I wasn't smart enough to be a doctor, they were like, you have to at least become an attorney. And
did they teach you about tax?
They did. Well, you know, kind of.
How to not pay tax?
Not really.
Okay, that's what they didn't teach you that
But
either.
I did read your book before going into law school. So I tried to focus my law on business and tax law. And my tax professor, very interesting, before the first day of class, sent out an article about how rich people legally evade taxes.
There's a difference between evade and avoid, isn't there?
Yeah, and it was very interesting.
What's the difference between evade and avoid as an attorney?
Well, avoid, you're doing it legally. Evade, you're doing something wrong.
Yes. What I do is I avoid, I don't evade. Corporate law comes out of Amsterdam. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. But they don't teach you that stuff. They teach you American, but not international law.
And we're going into a global economy more and more every single day. And going back to the topic of student loans, though, because the thing that I've wanted to mention that I thought was so interesting was that the biggest liability for so many Americans nowadays are student loans.
Yeah.
But you said the biggest asset for the United States government are student loans.
Yes.
How does that make any sense that so many people are drowning in debt? They can't save money or they can't invest money or they can't build wealth because of this liability that is making the government richer.
Corporate law comes out of Amsterdam. And in 1930, the Frankfurt School out of Berlin moved to Columbia University, the Teachers College. And that went into our educational system. Today it's called postmodernist education. Postmodernist education is based on opinion and emotion. STEM, science, technology, education, engineering, and math is out. So it's just based upon emotion and opinion. So here I'm quoting you history, and I'm telling you the law, but people get all emotional and reactionary and call me a crook, a capitalist, and all that. Well, that's what our schools are teaching us. That's why I hate to say this. Most school teachers are Marxist, but they never studied history. They don't know what they're teaching. So in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. What does that mean? We could print as much money as we could. That meant the only way the economy could expand was through debt and taxes. Okay? If you understand that, so that's why when the American consumer got racked up with debt and the U.S. government is racked up in debt, the next person that wanted the money were the teachers' unions. And so that's why Obama passed that student loan stuff. And now our young people are strapped in debt because that's the only way the economy can expand is through debt. So we screw our young people, then they accuse people like me of being a conspiracy theorist. But I studied history.
In one of your recent books, Fake, you inspired me to pull out a $100 bill because you said that on money, it says, in God we trust.
Right.
But this money wasn't created by God. This paper money was invented by the government.
Correct.
So why are we throwing God around to try to get people to believe this money?
Well, number one, Marx was anti-Christian, if you study his works. And so that's when you look at history, I'm not saying it's my opinion of him. I read his work. So when you study that stuff, and Americans are so gullible that if Jesus said it, it must be true. I said, well, I don't know about Jesus. I don't remember him saying that. But anyway, I mean, I was raised Christian. I don't go to church anymore. I believe in God and all this stuff. I respect all religions. That's what it is. You want to be a Hindu, Muslim, Jew, whatever you want. It's up to you. It's a free country. So I don't get into that stuff. But in 1964, it didn't say, "In God we trust."
Really?
It said a silver certificate. Oh, you're full of shit, Kiyosaki. Well, check history, assholes.
If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide that goes over what passive income is, how to start generating passive income, and different passive income strategies. All you gotta do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.